Chosen one, stop. Don't scroll. Not yet. I need you to hear me right now, in this moment, before you go anywhere else. You checked that bank account last night, didn't you? Late. Real late. When the house was quiet, when everybody else was asleep, you opened it, stared at that number, and closed it fast before it could break something inside you that you weren't sure you could put back together. I know. Heaven knows. You've been carrying something that doesn't have a name. It's not just worry. It's heavier than worry. It's the smile you put on at Sunday dinner while something inside you is cracking. It's the "I'm fine" you've said so many times you almost believe it yourself. It's the bill you move to next week, then the week after. Then you stopped counting weeks. Nobody gave you a medal for that kind of strength, but heaven kept a record. Now listen to me very carefully. You were not scrolling. You were summoned. Someone pulled your eyes to this exact screen, at this exact second, on this exact day in your life. And that is not an accident. That is a divine appointment. There is a reason your financial battle has felt unusually heavy lately. Like it's targeting you personally. Like it has your name on it. It does. Because what is about to break off your life has been assigned to you for a long time. And today, a chain snaps. Before this message ends, I will show you the 3 signs heaven releases right before your financial captivity ends. The first sign is not what most believers expect. And if you leave before I show it to you, you could walk right past your breakthrough without ever recognizing it was there. This is not a motivation speech. This is a summons. Your long season of financial pressure has reached its breaking point. Something old is cracking in the unseen world right now. Can you feel it? Type in the comments, "I will not miss my sign." Hit that like button not for the algorithm, as your act of agreement with heaven. Your season is here. Stay with me. Chosen one. Your financial chains break today. Let me ask you something, and I need you to answer this honestly, not for me, but for yourself. When was the last time someone asked you how you were really doing, and you actually told them the truth? Not the polished version. Not the "I'm managing, thank the Lord" version. The real one. The one where you admit that you checked the banking app at midnight, and the number you saw did something to you that you still haven't fully recovered from. You closed it fast. Not because you were irresponsible. Not because you didn't care. You closed it fast because staring at it 1 second longer was going to crack something inside you that you weren't sure you had the strength to repair. I see you in that moment, and I need you to know heaven was in that room with you. You stood in the grocery store and put something back, quietly, without making a scene. You rearranged your cart so no one around you would notice. You told yourself you didn't really need it. You've become so practiced at shrinking your needs that you've almost convinced yourself you don't have any. You've been buying less and calling it intentional. You've been eating simply and calling it discipline. But the truth you carry alone, is that the cupboard has been thinner than you've let anyone see. And here is what breaks my heart most. While your own pantry was running low, you were still giving. A neighbor needed help, you gave. A grandchild needed something, you gave. The church plate came around, you gave. Because that is who you are. That is the kind of soul God built you to be. Generous. Even when generosity cost you something real. But nobody saw the full picture. Nobody saw what it took to be that generous from where you were standing. Heaven did. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Not far from them. Close. Close, like he was sitting in the chair beside you at that kitchen table at 11 o'clock at night while you sat with a bill in your hand, staring at it longer than you should have, folding it slowly and placing it face down so you wouldn't have to look at the number anymore. He was there. He saw the fold. He saw the face-down paper. He saw what your hands were doing while your chest was tight and your eyes were dry because you ran out of tears a long time ago. You've prayed prayers that no preacher ever heard, no congregation, no choir, no amen from the pew beside you. Just you and the dark and God, whispering something that barely had words. I don't know what to do anymore. I've tried everything. I'm still here. I'm still faithful. But Lord, I am so tired. No eloquence, no King James vocabulary, just raw, honest, bone-tired prayer from someone who has been holding it together far longer than anyone around them knows. Proverbs 24:16 tells us, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again." You rose. Every single time you got up. Not because it was easy. Not because you felt strong. You got up because something deep in your spirit refused to let the fall be final. And heaven kept a record of every single time you chose to stand back up when nobody was watching and nobody was cheering and nobody even knew you had fallen. Matthew 6 says the Father sees in secret, not might see, not sometimes sees. Sees. Every bill you folded and put in the drawer. Every night you thanked God, even while fear still lived in your chest. Every morning you got dressed and walked out that door, looking composed, while something inside you was fighting just to breathe. God saw the performance you gave so your family wouldn't worry. He saw the smile you put on at dinner. He saw the "I'm fine" that came out so smoothly because you've said it so many times. It no longer even feels like a lie. It just feels like survival. Your silence was never weakness, dear one. Your silence was evidence. Evidence of a faith so deep it didn't need an audience. Evidence of a trust so real it kept moving, even when it couldn't see. You have been carrying a private winter. Long, cold, quiet. And most of the people who love you don't even know the season you've been in. But here is what I need you to hear, and please receive this with your whole heart. There is a reason heaven let you survive this season without letting it destroy you. There is a reason the pressure was heavy but never final. There is a reason you are still here, still breathing, still watching this message on this exact day. Your financial pressure was never only about money. It was always about something far greater. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you what this season was actually training you for, and why Archangel Michael is releasing the first sign to the ones who endured it without walking away. The most important prayers of your life may have been the ones you whispered when everybody else was asleep. God heard every word, every syllable, every silence between the words. If this feels like God is reading your mail today, write "God saw me" in the comments below. Let heaven hear your voice. Can I ask you something that might be uncomfortable? What if the financial pressure you have been living inside, the sleepless nights, the delayed bills, the quiet humiliation of needing more than you had? What if none of that was punishment? What if every single moment of it was the most precise, most intentional, most loving preparation heaven has ever designed for one human soul? I know that sounds impossible right now, because when you are inside the pressure, it does not feel like preparation. It feels like abandonment. But I need you to stay with me here, because this is the part most believers never reach. This is the part where confusion finally becomes meaning. There is a difference, a massive, life-changing difference between punishment and preparation. Between God walking away from you and God compressing you. Between a door that is closed forever and a door that is closed until you are ready to walk through it without destroying yourself. The enemy wants you to confuse those two things, because if you believe you are being punished, you stop pressing forward. You sit down, you go quiet, and you miss everything. Look at Joseph, 17 years old, thrown into a pit by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, thrown into prison. 13 years. 13 years between the dream God gave him and the morning he stood before Pharaoh as the second most powerful man on earth. Now let me ask you this. Do you think Joseph felt chosen during year 6 in that prison? Do you think he woke up every morning filled with confidence and praise? Or do you think there were nights when he pressed his back against that cold stone wall and whispered into the dark, "God, did you forget my name?" He was not forgotten. He was being made capable of carrying what God had already promised him. Because here is the truth that will rearrange everything you thought you knew. The palace would have destroyed Joseph if he had arrived there at 17. He needed the pit. He needed the prison. He needed the 13 years of silence to build the character that could hold the weight of the calling. And beloved, so did you. The financial pressure you have been living under was not random suffering. It was targeted refinement. It exposed things inside you that had to come out before the blessing could come in. It exposed the fear that said, "I cannot survive without control." It exposed the false dependence, the belief that your security lived in a bank account instead of in the hands of the living God. It exposed old identities, old survival agreements, old poverty thinking, dressed up in church clothes. God was not withholding provision from you. God was enlarging the container before pouring in the oil. Because if he had released the full measure of blessing before the container was ready, it would have leaked. It would have been wasted. Or worse, it would have become an idol. Remember the widow in 2 Kings. Nothing left. Debt collectors at her door. Sons about to be taken. Elisha said, "Go, gather empty vessels. Every one you can find. Do not gather a few." She did not gather the oil first. She gathered the emptiness first. And then, and only then, did the oil begin to flow. The miracle was not released until the empty vessels were ready to receive it. Chosen one, your empty seasons were not evidence of God's absence. They were the gathering of vessels. The roots had to go deeper because what is coming is heavier. God was not building comfort first. He was building capacity. He was not preparing a life for you that you could lose in a single bad year. He was preparing a life for you that could survive anything, because the foundation was laid in the hardest soil, in the longest winter, in the quietest rooms where nobody saw you hold on. There is a moment, and I need you to hear this carefully. There is a moment when delay stops being delay and becomes release. When the compression is complete, when the vessel is ready, when the character has been proven in the fire and heaven says, "Now," not before. Now. That moment is what this message is about. You were not being ignored. You were being made safe for what you asked for. Read that again. You were being made safe for what you asked for. The blessing you prayed for in 1998, if it had arrived in 1998, would have found a version of you who was not yet strong enough to steward it, humble enough to share it, or grounded enough to keep it. God heard that prayer the moment you prayed it. He never said no. He said, "Not yet. I am still building the person who will know what to do with this." And now that person exists. That person is you, right here, right now, refined by every fire you walked through and did not walk away from. If you still believe with everything you have been through that God can redeem every lost year, every wasted season, every moment that felt like it counted for nothing, type it in the comments right now. Nothing was wasted. Say it like you mean it. Because the next thing I am about to show you will prove it. The first of the 3 signs heaven sends right before the chains break is already moving toward you. I need you to stay with me right now, because what I'm about to describe, most people spend their entire lives never knowing it happened for them. Close your eyes for just one moment, not with your physical eyes, with the eyes of your spirit. Picture something beyond the ceiling above your head, beyond the sky, beyond what any satellite has ever photographed. There is a realm, a chamber so vast, so ancient, so saturated with authority that when a single word is spoken inside it, kingdoms on earth shift. The Bible calls it the throne room. Daniel 7-9 describes it. The Ancient of Days took his seat. His throne was flaming with fire. This is not poetry. This is not symbolism. This is the most real room that has ever existed. And I need you to hear what happened inside that room concerning you before this day began. Your name was spoken, not whispered, not mentioned casually. Spoken with authority before the throne of the Most High God. A case was brought forward. Your case, not your neighbors, not your pastors, not a stranger across the country. Yours. And the subject of that case was this season you are living through right now, this season of financial heaviness, of quiet desperation, of waking up tired in a way that sleep cannot fix. Now here is what most believers do not understand, and this is where I need your full attention. The chains on your finances right now, they are not simply debt. They are not simply a small pension and rising prices. They are not simply bad luck or poor decisions from years ago. They are a spiritual structure. The Bible tells us plainly in Ephesians 6:12, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age. Do you understand what that means for your life? It means the reason your financial situation has felt rigged, heavier than it should be, more stubborn than logic explains, returning every time you almost broke free, is because it has been rigged, not by the economy alone, not by your age alone, not by your circumstances alone, by a spiritual assignment designed specifically to keep you bound. Those chains come dressed in different forms. Some of you, it's the fear that lives in your chest every time you open a bill. Some of you, it's the inherited voice in your head that whispers people like us don't get ahead. A voice that started with your grandparents, passed to your parents, and settled quietly into you before you were old enough to question it. Some of you, it's the exhaustion, the kind that makes you stop reaching, stop asking, stop believing something this good could ever actually happen to someone like you. Some of you, it's the shame, the deep, silent shame of being a person of faith who still cannot make the numbers work. If I really trusted God, wouldn't this be different by now? Chosen one, let me say this directly to your soul. That shame is a chain, and it was put there on purpose. Now back to that courtroom. In the book of Job, we are given a rare, unfiltered glimpse behind the curtain of the unseen world. We see that the enemy stands before God and brings accusations against God's people. He points at their circumstances. He argues their limitations. He presents their fear, their failure, their fatigue as evidence that they are finished. But here is what he did not count on in your case. God reviewed the record of your faithfulness. Every night you prayed alone when no one was watching. Every Sunday you showed up when you barely had the strength. Every time you gave what little you had and trusted God with the rest. Heaven kept that record. And in that courtroom, in that moment, your name was spoken, a verdict was declared. Enough. This one has endured enough. The season of restriction is over. And this is where it gets cinematic, beloved. Because God does not leave his verdicts unexecuted. The Bible tells us in Daniel 10:13 that when God's answer was released, it required a warrior to cut through the spiritual resistance, blocking the way. A messenger, a warrior, moving under the direct command of heaven. That same power, that same divine order has been dispatched over your situation, not against you, against what stood in your way. A sword is not being lifted against you. It is being lifted against the assignment that has camped around your finances, your peace, your future, for far too long. Here is the truth that should make you tremble with something that feels like hope for the first time in years. Today is not important because you finally got stronger. Today is important because heaven finally declared movement over what held you. You did not fight your way to this moment. You were carried here. Your name moved in that room before your circumstances moved on this earth. A verdict in eternity has begun echoing into time. And what you are about to feel in the coming days, the unexpected phone call, the door that opens without you pushing it, the provision that arrives with no logical explanation, that is not coincidence. That is a verdict being executed. But heaven always gives confirmation before manifestation. And that confirmation comes in three signs. Three specific signs that appear right before the chains finish breaking. Most people see them. Most people misread them entirely. The first sign will seem almost too ordinary to matter. You'll be tempted to brush it off, to call it nothing, to keep waiting for something more dramatic. Do not make that mistake. Stay with me to the end, because the third sign is the one that will shake you most deeply. And it is the one most people miss when it is standing right in front of them. Now, the first sign. Lean in close, because this one is quiet. Heaven doesn't always announce itself with thunder. Sometimes it whispers a name. Sometime in the last few weeks, maybe the last few days, a person came back into your mind. Not slowly. Suddenly, like they walked right through the front door of your thoughts without knocking. Someone you hadn't spoken to in years, maybe decades. An old friend, a former colleague, a mentor who poured into you once, and then life just pulled you apart. Maybe a family member you drifted from, maybe someone you wronged, maybe someone who wronged you, and you brushed it off. You told yourself, that's just nostalgia. That's just me getting older. That's just memory doing what memory does. But beloved, what if it wasn't nostalgia? What if that wasn't your mind wandering? What if that was heaven pulling a thread? Here is what most believers don't understand about the way God moves before a financial breakthrough. He rarely starts with money. He starts with alignment. He starts with people. He starts with a name. Because somewhere in your history, tied to that specific person, is something unfinished. A door that was left ajar. A conversation that was never completed. A resource you didn't know they carried. A wisdom they were holding that was meant for this season of your life, not the last one. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." God didn't write that verse for strangers. He wrote it for the person whose name just interrupted your quiet Tuesday morning. Now let me ask you something uncomfortable. And I need you to sit with this question, really sit with it before you answer. Is there someone in your life you cut off during a hard financial season? Someone you pulled away from because pride wouldn't let them see you struggling? Someone you stopped calling because you owed them money or felt like you did? Someone who tried to reach out and you let the phone ring? I see you, and heaven sees you too. Because sometimes the chain holding your finances in place is not a money chain at all. It is a relationship chain, an unresolved thing between you and another soul that has been blocking the flow of provision longer than you realize. The enemy is clever. He knows if he can keep you isolated, if he can make you too ashamed to reconnect, too proud to pick up the phone, too wounded to be the first one to reach out. He can delay your breakthrough indefinitely, without ever touching your bank account. But here is the other side of this, and this is where discernment becomes everything. Not every name that returns to your mind is from God. Some names return because of guilt. Some return because of grief. Some return because the enemy wants to reopen a wound that God already sealed. So how do you know the difference? Here is what I've learned after decades of walking with the Lord. When God sends a name back to you, there is peace attached to it. Not panic, not shame, not dread. Peace. A quiet, settled knowing that says, this is worth exploring. But when the enemy sends a name, there is confusion attached to it. Obsession, anxiety, old pain, re-inflamed. Ask yourself this: why now? What is this person connected to in my story? Is this a reconnection? A door? A resource? A forgotten instruction I was supposed to follow but never did? Because sometimes, chosen one, the miracle you've been asking God to drop from the sky, is already inside a relationship you walked away from on the ground. Think about this. Ruth didn't walk into financial restoration alone. She walked back toward Naomi. A relationship, a reconnection, an act of loyalty to someone who had nothing left to offer by the world's standard. And through that one obedient step, Boaz appeared. Provision appeared. Redemption appeared. a legacy appeared. It started with a name. It started with a return. Ruth 1:16. Where you go, I will go. 5 words. And those 5 words unlocked one of the greatest financial restoration stories in all of Scripture. Do not dismiss the name that keeps returning to you. Do not scroll past it in your mind the way you scroll past things on a screen. It may be the thread heaven is pulling right now to unravel your financial captivity from the root. Before God changes your numbers, He may first reconnect a relationship tied to your next instruction. So here is what I want you to do. Don't call them yet. Pray first. Take that name to God and say, Lord, is this you? What is connected to this person? What do you want me to do with this? And then wait. Listen. Let peace be your confirmation. And if the peace comes, pick up that phone, write that letter, send that message, make that move. Because obedience in small things always opens the door to large things. If your spirit is sensing this right now, if a name just surfaced in your mind while you've been listening, type in the comments, open my discernment. Let that be your declaration. Let heaven record your willingness to recognize the sign when it arrives. Now, stay with me, because the second sign, it's even stranger than this one. It comes from something you thought was completely over, something you already grieved, something you already let go, and yet heaven is about to use it in a way that will leave you breathless. Now let me show you the second sign, and I need you to lean in close right now, because this one is going to reach into a place inside you that you stopped visiting a long time ago. There is something God placed in you years ago, maybe decades ago, a business idea, a creative gift, a ministry step, a property decision you kept putting off, a skill you walked away from, a practical plan that once burned in your chest like a fire until life got heavy, until the bills stacked up, until somebody told you it was foolish, until you decided it was too late. And somewhere along the way, you buried it. You told yourself it was just a dream. You told yourself your season had passed. You moved on. Or you tried to. But here is what I need you to understand right now. What you buried was not dead. It was seed. Ecclesiastes 11:1 says this, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days." Not maybe, not possibly. You will find it. What God deposits in a chosen one does not expire. It does not rot. It does not get cancelled because the years went by. It goes underground and it waits. It waits for the season when the builder is finally ready to build. The blueprint does not disappear. It returns when the builder is ready. And beloved, you are ready now. Let me ask you something you need to answer honestly. In the last few weeks, has something returned to your mind that you thought you had put away for good? A small business idea that surfaced again out of nowhere. A conversation about stewarding what you own that keeps pressing on you. A talent, something you were gifted at, stirring quietly again like embers that never fully went cold. A debt strategy that suddenly feels clear and doable instead of overwhelming. A piece of land, a property, a decision that has been sitting unresolved for years, and now it is returning with a new kind of weight to it. Not desperation this time, not fantasy, not the grasping, frantic energy of fear. This time it comes back calm, it comes back ordered, it comes back with a sobriety and a clarity that tells you this is no longer just an idea. This is a directive. That is not coincidence. That is the second sign. Now I need to speak directly to some of you who are 60, 70, even 80 years old, and the enemy has been whispering the cruelest lie he owns. He has been telling you that your building days are behind you. He has been telling you that God uses younger hands, faster minds, more connected people. He has been telling you that your ideas have an expiration date and yours ran out years ago. I need you to hear me clearly. That is a lie, and it is a targeted lie. because he knows what you are still carrying. Caleb was 85 years old when he stood before Joshua and said, "Give me this mountain, not give me a smaller hill. Not give me something easier, not let a younger man handle this. Give me this mountain." Joshua 14:11 records his own words, "I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me." 85 years old, still strong, still building, still claiming territory. Now tell me, who told you that your hands were too old to build something? Because it was not God. Your wisdom is not a liability. It is the very thing that makes your assignment credible. A 25-year-old has energy, yes, but you have something that cannot be bought and cannot be rushed. You have survived things that would have ended most people. You have learned what works and what does not work, not from a book, but from life. You have discernment that took decades to develop. You have relationships, character, and a reputation that most people are still trying to earn. Heaven calls that qualified. The enemy calls it old. There is a reason he wants you to listen to him instead of God. And here is where it gets urgent. Some of you are sitting on something right now that could shift your financial reality, not years from now, but in the next season of your life. A practical step, an obedient move, a conversation you have been avoiding, a decision that keeps returning. But you keep waiting for perfect conditions. You keep waiting to feel younger, feel stronger, feel more certain. And God is saying, I did not ask you to feel ready. I asked you to move. Sometimes the chain breaks the moment you stop calling your assignment impossible. The moment you pick up what you put down. The moment you make the call. Write the plan. Take the step. Have the conversation. Say yes to what God has been bringing back to your door. The idea was never dead. It was waiting on you. If something God placed in you years ago is stirring right now, if you feel it waking up inside you as I speak these words, type in the comments, "The seed still lives." Let that be your declaration. Let that be the moment you stop calling it impossible. Because the third sign, the one coming next, is the holiest of them all. It will not happen around you first. It will happen inside you. And when it does, everything changes. Now we arrive at the third sign. And I need you to receive this one differently than the others. Not with your mind first, with your spirit. Because this sign doesn't look like a breakthrough. It doesn't sound like one. It doesn't feel like what you've been trained to expect a blessing to feel like. And that is exactly why most people miss it. Here's what happens. Something occurs in your life that should by every natural law send you into a spiral. A bill arrives you weren't expecting. A door closes that you needed open. A conversation goes wrong. A number on a screen still doesn't move. And you brace yourself. You wait for the familiar wave of panic to crash through your chest the way it always has. But it doesn't come. Instead, there is something quiet there. Something still. Something that has absolutely no business being present, given everything you're looking at. That stillness that is your third sign. The Apostle Paul called it something specific. He didn't call it denial. He didn't call it numbness. He didn't call it pretending everything is fine. He called it the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. Philippians 4:7. Surpasses all understanding. Meaning, your mind cannot explain it. Your logic cannot source it. Your circumstances do not justify it. And yet, there it is, sitting in the center of your chest like something ancient just moved in and quietly took its throne. Now I need you to understand what this peace actually is, because the enemy will try to convince you it's weakness. He will whisper, "You've just given up. You've stopped fighting. You don't care anymore." That is a lie. Peace is not passive. Peace is the atmosphere of heaven entering your mind before provision enters your hand. It is not the absence of the problem. It is the presence of the one who has already solved it. Think about this. When a surgeon walks into the operating room, she doesn't panic. Not because the situation isn't serious. It's very serious. But because she knows something the patient doesn't know yet. She has already prepared for this. When heaven releases peace into your spirit before your finances change, God is telling you something the bank statement hasn't caught up to yet. The surgery is already done in the unseen. The natural world is just waiting for the paperwork. And here is where I need to speak to something deep in you. Something you may have never heard said out loud before. God does not just want to change your bank account. He wants to change what lives inside the person who holds the bank account. Because here is the hard truth. Money given to a heart still enslaved by fear does not produce freedom. It produces more sophisticated chains. We have all seen it. People who receive an inheritance and lose it in 18 months because panic was still sitting on the throne. People who receive a financial windfall and immediately begin destroying it because somewhere deep inside they don't believe they deserve to keep something good. God breaks chains at the root before he breaks them in public. And the root is not your bank account. The root is your peace. Before the prison door opened outward, something opened inward. Before the chains fell off Peter's wrists in that cell, the Bible says he was asleep, not pacing, not panicking, not calculating his odds of survival. Asleep, in a Roman prison, the night before his execution. That is not human behavior. That is what happens to a soul when heaven has already decided the outcome and the spirit somehow knows. So let me ask you something I need you to sit with. In the last few days or weeks, have you noticed something unusual? Situations that used to steal your sleep no longer own you the way they did? A quietness arriving that you didn't manufacture, didn't pray yourself into, didn't talk yourself toward. A strange, unexplainable sense that something is shifting. That is not you going numb. That is heaven settling your heart before it shifts your landscape. That is the sound of chains weakening. Do you hear it? The first proof that your chain has broken may not be a deposit notification. It may not be a phone call. It may not be a check in the mail. The first proof may simply be that fear no longer gets the final word inside of you. That right there, that is the beginning of everything. Because a soul at peace moves differently, makes decisions differently, receives differently, opens doors that panicked hands could never turn the handle on. This is your third sign, chosen one. Not the loudest, the holiest. And if you feel it even faintly, even like a flicker, do not dismiss it. Receive it as evidence. Receive it as confirmation that Archangel Michael's declaration over your name is already in motion. Right now, in the comments, write these words: I receive peace before proof. Don't just think it, say it, because your voice is an instrument of agreement with heaven. And the moment you speak it, something in the unseen world responds. But beloved, stay with me, because even now, even after all three signs have been shown to you, there is one final danger that takes people out at the very door of their breakthrough. Many souls lose their courage not in the middle of the battle, but the moment blessing arrives and it feels unfamiliar. What do you do when the very thing you prayed for finally shows up, and something inside you whispers that you don't deserve it? That answer is coming next, and it may be the most important thing you hear today. Now I need to stop here, right here, before we go any further, because there is something happening inside some of you right now, and if I don't name it, it will quietly rob you of everything heaven just released over your life. You felt it, didn't you? Somewhere in the middle of this message, something stirred in your chest. A warmth, a recognition, a yes, and then almost immediately another voice showed up, quieter, calmer, almost reasonable sounding, and it said, "This is too good for me. I'll believe it when I actually see something change. Nothing this good has ever lasted in my life. I'm probably just reading too much into this. People like me don't really get free. I need you to hear me clearly right now. That voice is not wisdom. That voice is not discernment. That voice is not the Holy Spirit protecting you. That is old pain that learned how to speak in full sentences. That is a nervous system trained by decades of disappointment, now trying to manage your expectations before you get hurt again. And it has been doing this every single time a breakthrough tried to reach you. Here is what survival mode does. It keeps you alive in the desert, but it does not know what to do when the promised land opens up. It distrusts abundance because it spent years adapting to scarcity. It reads blessing as a trick. It reads open doors as traps. It reads this is finally happening, as here comes the disappointment. Psychologists call it hypervigilance. God calls it a stronghold. And beloved, you cannot walk into your breakthrough while that stronghold is still making your decisions. The Bible says in Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not transformed by the renewing of your circumstances, not transformed by the renewing of your bank account. Your mind first, because the chain can break on your wrist and still remain locked inside your thinking. Some people are financially free on paper and still living in poverty in their minds. And some of you right now are standing in front of an open gate and not walking through it because somewhere deep inside you still believe you belong in the prison. Let me ask you something direct, and I need you to sit with this question. When was the last time you actually let yourself receive something good without immediately waiting for the other shoe to drop? When was the last time a blessing arrived and you didn't spend the first week looking over your shoulder, waiting for it to be taken back? That's not caution. That's not wisdom. That is trauma dressed up in the language of faith, and it has been masquerading as maturity in your life for far too long. Now hear me, because this is where most teachers stop short. They tell you to believe. They tell you to have faith. But they never tell you this. Receiving is a spiritual discipline. It is not passive. It is not automatic. It requires the same courage as trusting God in the hard season. Only now, the courage is to stop protecting yourself from the good thing that is finally walking through your door. Humility is not rejecting what God is offering you. Humility is saying, I don't deserve this on my own, but He promised it, and I receive it fully, without apology, without suspicion, without one foot still out the door. The greatest threat to your breakthrough is not the devil standing at the door. It is the old version of you refusing to walk through it. Elisha told the widow in 2 Kings chapter 4, fill every jar you can find. And the oil kept flowing until she ran out of jars. The miracle didn't stop because God got tired. The miracle stopped when she stopped making room to receive. How many jars are you putting out right now? Or are you only holding out one because somewhere inside you don't believe the oil is really going to flow for you? Chosen one, you have fought too long. You have waited too hard. You have prayed through too many silent nights to let fear with a calm voice talk you out of what heaven already signed your name on. The chain broke in the unseen world. Now it must break in your mind. Now it must break in the way you speak about your future, in the way you wake up tomorrow morning, in the way you allow good things to land in your life without immediately preparing for them to leave. Right now, out loud, wherever you are, say this. I break agreement with fear. I break agreement with lack. I will not stand outside the gate that heaven opened for me. Type it in the comments. I break agreement with fear. Let those words be the sound of a mind stepping out of survival and into the life God ordained for you before you were born. Because what comes next is not another teaching. What comes next is a spoken agreement, a declaration between you and heaven that will seal everything released in this message and mark this day as the day your season permanently shifted. Stay with me. You are one step away from walking out of the longest winter of your life. I need you to stop everything right now, not in a moment. Now, place your hand over your heart. Feel that steady, faithful beat beneath your palm that is the sound of a person who did not quit. That is the sound of someone who got knocked down by medical bills, by fixed income, by inflation, eating what little was left, and still got up every single morning and chose to believe. That heartbeat is evidence, and heaven has been counting every single one. Now take a slow, deep breath. Fill your lungs all the way. And as you breathe out, I want you to release something specific tonight. Breathe out the fear that it's too late for you. Breathe out the shame of the balance you've been hiding from your children. Breathe out the disappointment of every door that closed in your face when you deserved for it to open. Breathe out the voice, that old, inherited voice that whispered people like us don't get ahead. That voice did not come from God. That voice came from a chain. And today, that chain breaks. Here is what I need you to understand before we go any further. Your financial struggle was never just about money. It was about identity. It was the enemy trying to make you believe that scarcity was your inheritance. That struggle was your bloodline. That the best you could hope for was just enough, and even that wasn't guaranteed. But the Bible says something that should shake you to your core right now. Deuteronomy 8:18. Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Did you catch that? God doesn't just allow wealth. He gives the ability to produce it. Which means if you belong to Him, the capacity for provision was placed inside you before you were born. The chain was never God's design for your life. It was a lie you were handed and told to carry. So let me ask you something that might sting for just a moment. How long have you been calling yourself broke when God calls you equipped? How long have you been saying I can't afford it when heaven's treasury has your name on it? How long have you been living beneath a ceiling that was never meant to be permanent? Romans 8:28 says, "In all things God works for the good of those who love Him." All things, not some things, not the easy things, not the things that made sense. Every missed opportunity, every collapsed retirement plan, every year inflation swallowed your savings whole. All of it God has been working, which means nothing has been wasted. Not one tear, not one sleepless night, not one desperate prayer whispered into the dark when you thought nobody heard. He heard every word. And now, right now, the verdict is leaving the courtroom and entering your life. Today the rust comes off the gate. Today the river moves again. Today something that has been frozen in your story for years begins to thaw. And I need you to say this out loud, not in your head. Out loud because your voice carries authority in the unseen world. I am not abandoned. I am not too late. What God promised is not blocked forever. My history is not my ceiling. I will not call delayed what heaven has already appointed. Say it like you mean it. Say it like someone who just realized the verdict was in their favor the whole time. Jesus said it plainly in John 16:24. Ask and you will receive, and your joy will be complete. Not partial, not cautious, complete. That is an open invitation from the one who holds every resource in existence. He is not asking you to figure out how the breakthrough comes. He is asking you to open your hands and stop gripping the weight of what hasn't happened yet. And 2 Corinthians 1:20 seals it with fire. For no matter how many promises God has made, they are yes in Christ. Every promise spoken over your life. Yes. Every prayer you prayed that still hasn't been answered. Yes. Every dream you quietly buried because it felt foolish to keep hoping. Yes, all of it is moving in your direction right now. Here is the truth that changes everything, and I need you to let it land slowly. You are not waiting to become blessed. In Christ you are learning how to stand in the place where blessing can finally land without being wasted. That is the shift. That is the breakthrough. Not a lottery ticket, not a lucky break. A positioning deep in your spirit where you can finally receive what was always yours without fear destroying it the moment it arrives. That is what today is. If this word is yours, if something in your chest just moved, comment right now. The chain breaks today. Don't let this moment pass quietly. And if you know someone who has been carrying silent financial fear, who checks their account at midnight and smiles through Sunday, share this with them. Because the next section reveals the first sign heaven sends right before the chains snap, and most believers miss it completely. Now I need you to stay with me just a little longer, because what I'm about to speak over your life is the part most people never hear because they leave too soon. You stayed, and that already tells me something about who you are. Let me bring it all together for you now. The 3 signs Archangel Michael revealed, they are not complicated, they are not loud. That's exactly why most people miss them. The first sign: someone comes to your mind, strongly, unexpectedly. A name, a face, someone from your past, or someone standing right in front of you today. Don't dismiss it. Don't call it coincidence. Heaven uses people as doorways. The second sign: something you buried comes back. An idea, a calling, an assignment you shelved years ago because the timing felt wrong, because someone told you it was too late, because life got heavy and you put it down. It returns, and this time, it returns with clarity. Pay attention to that clarity. It is not nostalgia. It is instruction. The third sign: a peace settles over you in a place where panic used to live. Not because the problem disappeared, but because something shifted underneath the problem. A quiet confidence, a stillness that has no natural explanation. Philippians 4:7 calls it the peace that passes all understanding. When that peace arrives, that is heaven telling you, I have already gone ahead of you. So what do you do now? Write things down. When a name rises, write it down. When an idea returns, write it down. When a door cracks open even slightly, write it down. Because God moves in patterns, and patterns only become visible when you pay close enough attention to connect the moments. Move with prayer. Move with discernment. And here is something that will save you from missing the very thing you've been waiting for. Do not despise small openings. Some miracles arrive in work boots, not on clouds, not with trumpets. They show up as a quiet phone call on a Tuesday morning, as a stranger who mentions something that answers a prayer you prayed 6 years ago, as an opportunity so understated that your pride almost walked right past it. Luke 16:10. Whoever is faithful in small things will be faithful in large things. Heaven tests your reverence for small beginnings before it trusts you with large endings. And I need to warn you about something. The moment a sign appears, the old voice will rise. It will whisper, "This can't be it. This is too small. This is too ordinary. Maybe next time. Maybe someone else." Do not let that voice cost you your season. Do not speak against what God is beginning just because it doesn't look the way you imagined. The Israelites walked around Jericho for 6 days in silence. 6 days. It looked like nothing was happening. It looked like a slow, quiet, almost embarrassing ritual. And then on the 7th day, the walls came down. Your 6 days are ending. So here is how I'm sending you forward. Walk with your head lifted. Not in arrogance, in expectation. Watch carefully, not anxiously, with the quiet confidence of someone who knows the promise has already been made. Steward every small movement. Honor the subtle shift. Refuse fear like it owes you something, because it does. Fear stole years from you. You don't owe it one more minute. And expect precision, not chaos. Not a dramatic explosion that disrupts your whole life. Precision. Heaven knocks softly before it opens widely. It doesn't kick the door down. It leans in close, and in the quietest voice says, "Here, right here, this is the one." Chosen one. God has not wasted a single day of your faithfulness. Not one prayer prayed in the dark. Not one morning you got up when you had every reason to stay down. Not $1 you gave when you had barely enough. Not one time you chose faith when fear was screaming louder. Heaven kept that record, every page of it. And he did not bring you through 40 years of wilderness to let you die looking at the promised land through a fence. He brought you here to this message, to this moment, to this exact breath, because what begins quietly in your life this week can become undeniable by the end of this year. The sign you've been waiting for may not look spectacular at first, but if you recognize it, if you honor it, steward it, and refuse to talk yourself out of it, what starts as a whisper will end as a roar. Do not stare only at the sky. Watch the front door. Your breakthrough may already be standing on the porch. If this word strengthened something real in you today, like this video, subscribe so the next word finds you at exactly the right moment. And if your heart leads you to support this channel, the link is right there in the description. Every offering goes back into the next message for the next chosen one who needs it. But most of all, watch for the signs. They are already moving. Your chain broke today,